Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be doing a super in-depth eyeshadow tutorial on my go-to festival look, which is what I currently have on my eyes. So over on my Instagram, I had posted a poll asking if people were interested in seeing a look that I had created for an EDM festival that I went with my husband to. It was pretty much a resounding yes, and so I finally got around to filming it. And the reason why it took me so long to film is actually because I was struggling with the fact that the eyeshadow palette that I had used specifically for that look, which is the Tati Beauty eyeshadow palette, is no longer accessible. Like you can't get this, but you can definitely see that I used you know, these two shades here, Soothe and Poet. And so I was struggling with myself to figure out, like, okay, do I just use this palette and stay true to exactly what that look was, or do I try and supplement with palettes that you can currently get? And I ultimately landed on I should supplement with palettes that you can get, because this way, if you like the way that this eyeshadow looks, you can go ahead and purchase those two eyeshadows as well, and be able to dupe this. So the two palettes that I ended up using are going to be the Nabla Dreamy palette. So you can see that it's very similar to that one hot pink shade in here. And then I also have the Ruby Lights glitter palette, which is the glitter that I currently have on my eyes. Their glitter eyeshadow formula is the closest to the Tati Beauty glitters in here. One of the things that she did best was her glitter eyeshadows. They are so emollient, very easy to apply. They're not chalky, not patchy. And when I picked up the Nabla Glitter Lights palette, I was like, this is pretty close. It's like a dupe. So yeah, anyway, if you guys want to see how you achieve this look, keep watching. So my favorite eyeshadow primer is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion, in specifically the one that is anti-aging. Let's talk about the importance of a eyeshadow primer. So first of all, it does help prime your eyelid so that you have a smooth canvas to work with. And then second of all, it does also kind of make your eyeshadow stay on a lot longer. It doesn't crease throughout the night, and so that is why I always recommend using an eyeshadow primer when you're putting on, you know, a look that's particularly dramatic and, you know, the colors are not as natural and you need your pigmentation to really stay put. And this is why I would definitely recommend using this one. Now, there are a lot of eyeshadow primers out there. My favorite is this one, just because of how easy it is to smooth onto your skin, and also it makes it so that it's not so tacky that when you're blending out eyeshadows, it's like it makes it really hard. It's actually very smooth, very easy, and it dries down to a really nice finish. First step is to take your palette. I'm going to be using the Nabla Dreamy palette here. I'm going to go ahead and start with a fluffy brush. So this one is the It brushes from Ulta. This is their number 105 blending crease brush, and I'm just going to take this brown shade here, Illusion, and I'm really going to kind of pack that onto the brush here, and then I'm going to go ahead and tap off any of that extra and start to apply that into my crease. Now, when you're doing a really bold look like this, what I tend to do is I actually find right where my socket is, and I blend just a little bit higher than that. So even using my left eye as a reference here, you can see how that brown shade right here kind of comes really high, right? And the reason why I do this is because I want my bold color to still have something in between, like my skin versus the bold color. Like, I want to have a nice gradation so that it's not just like bold color and then skin. And the way that I'm applying this is I'm holding my brush pretty much almost perpendicular to my face. It's okay if you blend up a little bit more, just because in this case I want my color to kind of go a little bit higher than where I'm placing it, and I want it to blend out really nicely. And I'm just using really soft windshield wiper motions and then mini circles as well to get a really nice blend. And the way that I'm doing this as well is I'm following my eye shape, and so I'm really kind of going in where that socket is and blending just and sweeping across that. And in general, the way that you know where to stop blending on like the outside of your eye is if you take your brush and just kind of hold it to your nose and line it up with your eyebrow. That's pretty much where you want to stop, like right here. So just kind of a general guide, if you will. Okay, and once I feel like that's blended out really nicely, I like the shape of it, I'm gonna now go in with my super huge pop of color here. So this is the shade Senorita, and gonna be doing the same thing, loading up the brush here, tapping off the extra. And anytime you're using a really bold color like this, it's totally okay to go really slow and build your product versus going in with a huge amount of pigmentation and color and powder right off the bat. And so what I've done is I've packed on that color on my brush, but I'm really tapping off the excess just so that as I start to lay this down, it's not going to be so hard for me to blend it out, because I do want this to still look somewhat seamless and blend it out and nice, right? Like you don't want your eyeshadow look to ever look patchy. And I'm just gonna go ahead and place that actually into where my eye socket is, I guess, through the crease. And so I'm putting this color right underneath that brown that I just laid down. And I'm kind of using the same techniques. And here's something that can actually be really helpful if you have hooded eyes like me, where you have quite a bit of a crease when you open your eye, right? A lot of the time what you want to do is you're going to actually want to blend your eyeshadow kind of looking down, and then what you're going to do is you're going to raise your eyebrows, which sounds really weird, but you're going to raise your eyebrows so that you're kind of really making this your eye very taut as you blend, placing that underneath the brown shade, going back and forth again. And I'm going to pack on a little bit more color now and really build that intensity, because you can see how intense it is on my left eye, and I just want to mimic the same thing here. Now, if you ever feel like, you know, you've lost that brown shade, because like even for me, right, I feel like I've lost it a tiny bit, I can always go back in with that original brush and just kind of sweep it across the top again to make sure that I'm still keeping with kind of the gradation and matching it from left to right. You know, when you're doing your eyeshadow looks, don't be afraid to take your time. Don't be afraid to slowly build that color. The best eyeshadows on the market will allow you to do that. I'm always afraid of the eyeshadows that are really difficult to start light with and then build on top of, just because I don't think that those give you as much control. Definitely would recommend Nabla if you're looking for an eyeshadow formula that does the building really well. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, now that I kind of like how this has laid down here, and I'm not too concerned about how it's kind of traveled down a little bit over here, because we are going to cover that up with another shade. I am going to just take whatever is left on this brush, and I'm just going to slide it right onto the inner corner. Not inner corner, this is the outer corner. I'm going to go ahead and slide that right into the outer corner of my eye here, and just kind of get everything to blend really nicely. So just kind of giving myself a little bit of color here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fill in the rest of the lid shade, and I'm going to use Metal Cupid here. Just taking a flat brush. This is the 234 Luxe Smoky Shader brush from Vieve. I'm going to go ahead and pack that on my brush here, tap off the extra. So again, when you are packing on eyeshadow colors and really kind of, you know, laying this down, the most important step is tapping the extra off of your brush. And there's a couple of reasons why this is important. So if you are like me and you tend to do your base first, you don't want any of that fallout from that powder to end up on your face, because otherwise you then have eyeshadow powder on your face, right? So no one wants that. And so it's really important to just kind of get that extra powder off of your brush, so that when you're pushing this onto your lid and laying down that color, nothing is transferring off. And to go ahead and brighten my inner corner on my eye, I'm going to go ahead and take Rose Gold in this palette, and I'm just taking this again on a kind of a flat shader brush here, and I'm really going to focus this right on the inner part of my eye, just to give myself a little bit of brightness and to just hit that. And honestly, these Nabla eyeshadows are so pretty. And it's just so nice for that hint of like brightness just on your eye. And then to really amp that up though, I'm going to take Immaculate, which is this shade here, and I'm going to use that specifically as my inner corner highlight. And so I'm actually taking this is the Janice Dowd brush from her collaboration with LaRue. I don't know what, oh, this is number 25. Got it. And then I'm just gonna place this right into the inner corner here to give myself that brightness. Love this shade. It looks so white in the pan, but it actually is this gorgeous, gorgeous gold tone to it. So it just wraps together with the look really, really well. Okay, from here, I am now going to do my wing liner, and the gel liner that I'm going to recommend to everyone that is amazing is the gel liner from Inglot. Mine has actually dried out a little bit because this is quite old actually. I think I bought this when I got married. So technically I need to get a new one. But what I did end up doing is I actually just sprayed a little bit of my all-nighter setting spray in there just to kind of loosen up the product a little bit more. And I'm just taking a angled brush. This is from Vieve. This is their 317 wing liner brush. And I'm just packing it on. And I'm going to go ahead and create that wing. So if you are like me and your eyes are not the same shape, this can be quite challenging. I would definitely say, you know, if you are not used to doing wing liner, start with a gel eyeliner like this. It'll make it so much easier. So I'm placing that line first, and then I'm just going to go from the center of that line to the middle of my eye. So, and then once I have this shape done, I'm just going to grab a little bit more product. Obviously, because my liner is dried out, it's quite a bit more difficult to work with. If you buy a brand new gel liner from Inglot, it'll be like, you'll be done with your gel eyeliner in like a minute, less than that for both sides. And this baby will last all night long, which is why I used it for my wedding and why I use it for all of my festival looks or anytime I need my makeup to just stay on for freaking forever. It's also the most black gel eyeliner out there. It's just super impressive. Right, and even you can see, like, this product is dried out and it is still performing pretty well. It's just a little bit more difficult to work with. Good stuff, man. It's good stuff. The next step would be putting eyeliner in my waterline with an eyeliner that I don't know where it currently is on my vanity. So this is Urban Decay's 24/7 Waterline Eye Pencil in the color Legend. And I'm just going to go ahead and take this on my waterline here. Once I have laid down that color, I'm going to go ahead now and just blend out this hot pink shade on my lower lash line as well. So again, taking Senorita on a brush here. This one is from Huda Beauty. This is their eye smudge brush, which I really like actually. And I'm just going to lightly graze underneath and drag that across, just to make sure that everything that I have kind of up here in the crease also gets replicated on the bottom as well. And it just kind of brings the entire look together, makes it super smoky. This is where we get to apply the glitter shade. So the first step with this is that when you use a glitter, be sure to use a primer with this. The one thing about glitter that you should always be terrified of is it falling into your eye and potentially scratching your eyeballs. So the best way to prevent that, which I know like technically beauty is pain, but it should not be like hazardous. So just be aware of that. What I do like to use is I use the NYX Glitter Primer. And what I do is I take a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of this onto my finger, like literally the smallest amount. And what I do is I actually layer this on top of my eyeshadow. And I'm just using a tapping motion, so I apply it with a tap, tap, tap. And the reason for this is because I don't want to disturb my eyeshadow underneath, but I want a really, really tacky base for that glitter to stick to. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my finger, and we're going to be using this glitter shade here on the Nabla palette. And I'm just going to pack this on. So now that it's on my ring finger, what I'm going to do, the way that I apply this is I actually tilt my head back and I'm looking at my mirror kind of down this way. And what I do is I apply it actually right into my crease right here. So I don't bring it down very close to where my eye actually is. I keep it really, really high. And the reason for that, again, is because I don't want to accidentally get any of these glitter particles in my eye. I want to be as safe as possible, and I'm just tapping and pressing the glitter on. And again, with the glitter primer being so sticky, it's literally going to hold that glitter in place. And voila, we have glitter on the eye. So I'm gonna go ahead now and apply my mascara, and then when we come back, we'll apply my falsies. The lashes that I'm going to be using today, or that I already have on my left eye, this is from the brand Vieve, and these are the HL3 Whisper lashes. So the HL stands for half lash. I'm a huge fan of half lashes. They're way easier to apply. They make it so that your eye looks really nice and elongated, and at the same time like really big. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take a little bit of lash glue, and I'm gonna place this right onto the band here. I'm gonna let that glue get a little bit tacky here. Sing a little song, do a little dance, you know, do your thing. All right, I'm gonna go ahead now and place these on my eye. And again, because they are the half lash, it's pretty easy because I'm just gonna line it up from the outer corner of my eye, and then just place these on top of my lashes. So, and the nice thing about these too is that you can actually apply them without a lash applicator. Which, you guys know me, if it comes to falsies, the easier the better. And voila. That was literally like the easiest false lash application. Like, are you kidding me? Honestly, these falsies are so great. Okay, so now that everything is dry, what I am going to take is I'm just going to use the little lash applicator here, and I'm going to go ahead and push my real lashes and my falsies together just so that everything looks as seamless as possible here. And that pretty much is it. This is the final look. I'm going to go ahead and have G-Brown zoom all the way out so that we can close out this video. Ta-da! Like, this is pretty much it. Like, honestly, this is my go-to festival look. I absolutely love wearing this. I think it's fun with a huge pop of color, but it's totally wearable. It's not super out there. It's actually pretty easy to do. I don't know about you guys, but like when I go to huge events, I like eyeshadow looks that I have done over and over and over again, because the whole concept of trying to do something new, like when you're trying to get ready and you're all like amped up on life, is just, yeah, it's not great, because I tend to find that my hands start to shake with like the excitement. So I always do a look that I'm super used to. So this is just my default festival look. Concert look, I always do something like this. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you like this video, please feel free to like and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. I think I just spit a little.